Hello everyone, I'm Robert Wenzel. Welcome to the 7th edition of Sunday Morning with Robert Wenzel. Today's topic, what the gentrification haters don't get. Now, gentrification is when you've got an area where there might be artists living, musicians, low income, blue collar people, and they're sort of pushed out when yuppies come in, businesses come in, new office building, new residential, and they're moved farther out from the core of a city. And there are people that are adamantly against this kind of gentrification, especially people on the left, and we have some people that are very violent about it. Basically, you can Oakland is a very good example of this. San Francisco is exploding right now. Some of it is genuine growth, some of it is fueled by the Federal Reserve, but what's happening is the city core is expanding into parts of Oakland, and you've had a number of major new developments that are going up. One a residential, one a combination residential, office, retail space, and they've been attacked at night and burnt down when they've been 50% complete. So it's a very aggressive anti-gentrification posture here in the San Francisco Bay Area. You have anti-gentrification in many cities, including New York City, but it's pretty aggressive here. And I think what the anti-gentrification people are missing is the benefits that occur when this gentrification happens for everybody. So let's take a look at that. Basically, in any geographic region, you have a downtown or a center, and what happens is a major city has a large center here, and the types of people that end up working here and living very close to the city are very, very skilled people. There are high-priced lawyers, high-priced doctors, high-priced accountants, financial people, investment bankers, all those kind of people are in here. And the key is that they're very, very highly skilled. And the reason they center around the core here is because there's a lot of transportation that will go into this core. If you're in Manhattan, for example, in New York City, you have the Port Authority, you have Grand Central Station, you have Penn Station, all these, and then on top of that, you have a very significant subway system, major subway system that brings people in from Queens and the Bronx and Brooklyn. So basically, what happens is you have a core because if there's a major company, say a major law firm that wants to move into a new city, say San Francisco, a New York law firm, because they want to take advantage of the growth in this area, what they'll do is they'll locate here because other law firms are already here. So they know if they want to poach lawyers from other firms, they'll be right around here. They know that these people will have access to their offices. They also have networking opportunities. The best way to understand a networking opportunity is in the Los Angeles area. There you have people flying in every day who think they're going to make it in the movie industry, television industry, actors and actresses. And it's a good place for them to network, to meet producers, to meet directors, to meet talent agents, things along those lines. So different cities have different specialties, but the idea is it makes a lot of sense for that to be really centered in the core if it's a big time specialty, because you want to get somewhere, you want to locate where there's going to be other people like you around so you can actually get stuff done. Now that doesn't apply as much to, say, a factory or something like that requires just general labor, general blue collar labor. If you've got a factory, you can put it away from the center because you're not looking for specialty labor. If there's people out here that'll work for the whatever the going general wage is, that's all you need. So it doesn't make sense for you to go here because it's going to be expensive to work in the core, to rent space in the core. So you're going to move out here, and that's why you'll see companies, businesses, factories, warehouses. Land is cheaper to rent, and also the labor is cheaper to get out here, and so it doesn't make any sense for you to try and get into the core. Now, around this core, you have a couple of different groups of people. You have low-income blue-collar workers who service the core. These might be people cleaning the office buildings at night. They might be people delivering merchandise into the area, whatever it might be. You've got a lot of that. You also have musicians and artists and things of that nature. Because a musician and an artist, they need a wealthy core to sell their services to. If they're out here with the warehouse people, okay, they're not going to get any sales, or no one's going to hire them for a gig. It's going to be very, very rare. Their best opportunity is right here. It's not because everybody in the core is going to be interested in what a particular artist, say a painter, is doing, or a particular band, but what will happen is that there will be a few people, so it sort of supports these. So these people sort of move into the warehouses and in office. They sort of live kind of an underground life, very, very close to the core, because the core is important for them. Now, what happens is when you've got an expanding city, right now San Francisco is expanding aggressively. Part of it is real growth thanks to the technology coming out of Silicon Valley, but there's also some of it coming because of the Federal Reserve money printing at this time. But whatever the case might be, there's growth occurring, and part of that growth makes the core bigger. And when the core gets bigger, that's going to push the low-income blue-collar workers out, the artists out, the music out. And they don't like this, but what's really going on here is this is just change. In the world, we always have change. You can't eliminate change. You know, it's like an 80-year-old man who wishes we were back in the 1950s, and that's not going to happen. There's always change. So someone who objects to this is really acting the way an 80-year-old man is acting, in wanting something to stay the same, the way it's never going to occur. So that's the first thing to recognize. It's objecting to change. But here's the other thing, and this is much more interesting. So you have this core which pushes it out. For example, in Oakland now, I mentioned the developments that were burnt down, but Pandora now has its headquarters in Oakland. Uber is putting up a big multi-use building that will have a international food court on the lower level. So there's a lot going on there, and the reason it's going on there is because it's very, very close to San Francisco, and it's easy access to San Francisco. You have the BART subway system that takes you there. You have the Bay Bridge that takes you there, and so it's very easy for the highly specialized, whether they're software people, whether they're software salespeople, whatever the case might be. These people are always going to want to be somewhere around the core because that's where their opportunities are. They're never going to want to. It's going to be rare to see them out here because A, they're not going to want to go out there because there's not as much going on, and B, for a company to set up here, I mean, they're going to have to convince people to move out there where there are no other opportunities, so it limits them. So most people are going to prefer this. So that's why the core stays and it expands. So now we've got these blue-collar people, musicians and artists who are upset because they have to find new cheap living space just outside where the new core is. Now here's a couple of things about that. First of all, for a musician and the artist, they should realize this is really great. Because if you've got some artist selling some kind of paintings that he could never sell out here, and he's got 10 patrons in here, well, when this expands, Now he's got maybe 15 patrons, okay? So he wants that core to expand. The only reason he's not in some small town now is because if he wants to live by doing what he's doing as far as painting, he needs to be somewhere near where there's potential patrons. Same thing with music. If you're playing music and you're part of a band, you might get 2 or 3 places that support you and hire you to play gigs. But if that core expands, you're just increasing the opportunity of places that want you. So for both artists and musicians and people of that nature, this core expanding is really a good thing for them. They're not going to like the fact that they're going to have to move a little bit, but in the long run, it helps them out. Now, what about the low-income, blue-collar people that are sort of pushed up? Well, with this core expanding, there's going to be more low-income, blue-collar people because it's a larger area to service, more offices to clean, more places that food and supplies need to be delivered. So there's more of those people. And the more people that are here, the more you're going to have shops and restaurants, food places that cater to these people, because it's going to make more sense for them to set up shop here because there's more of those low-income people. So whatever the stores are, whatever the restaurants are that cater to these people, there's going to be more of them. So the benefit overall is really, it's a plus to everybody. These people have to make the move, and that's what they're really upset about. But once they settle down and actually are in their new place, they're gonna be in a much more advantageous situation. So that's my message for today. Gentrification is not a bad thing. As a matter of fact, sometimes you can see the opposite. Core shrinking. We saw that recently in Detroit. It's starting to come back a little bit now. But when it shrunk, there's lots of restaurants that closed, lots of stores that closed. So anybody that was there really saw a collapse in the infrastructure of businesses that cater to people there. So it's a terrible thing to see. It's changing a little bit now. It's starting to develop. You're getting some artists in there. You're getting some businesses developing and musicians and things like that. So it's coming back a little bit, but there was a time it was shrinking, and that's not fun. So you really want to see that core expanding. That's my show for today. If you like the videos of this channel, please subscribe. If you like this particular video, please click like on the button. Please tweet out. Please blog this so people learn about what's going on here. If you'd like to reach me, email me at rw@epjmail.com. And you can send me ideas for videos. I've got a list now. There's some great ideas that have come in, and I'll address them in future videos. Also, if you have a question about any of these, or you make a presentation with my ideas and someone comes up with an objection, email that to me and I'll deal with it. The best way to get to this YouTube channel is to put sunday.cloud in the address in your browser, and that'll bring you right here. My main site is economicpolicyjournal.com, and all you have to do is put epj.cloud in the address area of your browser, and that'll get you to economicpolicyjournal.com. If you go to cafepress.com/EPJ, you get Economic Policy Journal t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, mugs, anything you need to keep you warm in the winter, I guess, with the sweatshirts, and cool in the summer with the t-shirts. And that's it for today. I appreciate your listening and hope to see you next week. Thank you.